Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jacklyn, and in today's video we are doing part 2 of books that I was convinced to read that hit the mark. In my previous video in part 1 I did books that missed. In part 2 we are doing books that hit the mark big time. These are some of my all-time favorite books, love and adore all of them, and these are just the books that really hit the mark for me personally, and I'm encouraging everybody to pick them up and give them a go and read them yourselves. I'm very excited to talk about books that I love, that I want other people to read. First up, we are going to be talking about one of my all-time favorites that I read last year. I read the entire series last year. It changed my life. I cannot do this video without including this book. I tried to pick new books, books that I haven't talked about before, books that I haven't said many things about, or books that I have freshly read, so they're like new for me as well. But I cannot do this video without talking about this series because it definitely hit the mark and it changed my life last year, and that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I read this entire series last year and I am obsessed. I had watched the movies previously, so I had watched the movies before having read this, and I had never read the books when I was younger either. It was my first time reading and truly changed my life. I am absolutely obsessed with these books. I love the writing style and the story is just chef's kiss. I'm just obsessed. I'm sure every single man and his dog knows about this series, this world, everything, but basically it is about a girl. Her name is Katniss, and she lives in this dystopian world where everybody is separated into their different sections, and she lives in a coal mining section, so that's where she's from, and she's in District 12. She is from a coal mining district and they're doing it pretty rough. They're not a very well-off district. Everyone is quite poor and struggling through life and struggling to survive. But what ends up happening is every single year they put on this thing called the Hunger Games. I'm sure everybody knows about this, but they put on the Hunger Games and basically your name gets drawn out of a hat. If you get drawn out, you go into this game and you have to kill everybody else to survive, and you have to win. You have to be the only winner. So her sister ends up getting picked. Her name gets picked out of the bowl of names and she volunteers to take her place. Instantly it's very moving, like she's sacrificing herself to save her sister's life, going in to the Hunger Games to do this TV show and this game and be a part of the Capitol's ploy, I guess. She volunteers, she goes into the Hunger Games, and basically you just follow her journey from there, and it gets exponentially bigger throughout each book. The story just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then there is 2 books after the original trilogy that are prequels, so you learn about the president and then you learn about Haymitch, which is a trainer in this book, and absolutely loved the whole lot of them. This series is a 6-star series for me, truly, like I'm just obsessed with it. I absolutely loved it. I loved the writing style. It's single point of view. You're in Katniss's point of view. I just felt like I was her when I was reading it, and I completely empathized with her and understood her and all of her flaws and her misgivings. Like, you truly understand her deeply, and I absolutely loved it. I loved it. This series has a very special place in my heart. Next one that we're going to be talking about is also a pretty fresh read for me as well. I read this late last year when it came out. When I say came out, it was traditionally published, so this was an indie published book before, or a fan fiction. I think it was a fan fiction. I really don't know too much about it, but I believe that it's a fan fiction, and that is Alchemized by Senlin Yu. This is the largest book I have ever read, I have ever devoured. Literally the largest book. It's over 1,000 pages and I devoured this. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely annotated the heck out of this. Every single page has an annotation. I loved this book. I loved it so much. This has some pretty hard-hitting topics in it, some hard things to read, some very confronting scenes, but if you know me, you know that I love a deep and meaningful, I love a serious topic, and this definitely hit the mark for me. It blew me away, truly, it blew me away. I was not expecting to be so obsessed with this, but I absolutely loved the story. I loved the world, I loved the magic system, I loved the characters, I just loved it all. It had a little bit of everything. It's very dark and eerie, there's fog, and there's morally grey characters, there's a lot of things happening that shouldn't be happening. There is also some really deep core connecting moments, some very significant moments where you just feel the characters love and care for each other. I was so invested in this. I absolutely loved it. If you are thinking about picking this up or you are intimidated by the size, please just dive in. As soon as you get into it, like, you just can't stop, honestly. It took me like 10 pages to be like, yeah, this was the right choice to pick this up. It's so good. I absolutely loved it. It's still very dark and eerie, and it's got dark themes and dark elements, but so well done, so well executed. I loved the writing. Obviously, all these annotations prove just how much I love the writing, and it's just such an achievement to have read this. Oh my god, I'm just going back through quotes. I just love this book. The shock on his face, as if he hadn't realized what he was like until she told him. This book, I'm obsessed. It's so good. Definitely pick it up. Oh my god. Moving on to the next one is A Forbidden Alchemy by Stacey McEwen. Stacey is actually an Australian author, so I absolutely love that. I love this book, and I'm going to yap about it because I love supporting Australian authors. I think that they're great. This I rated 4 stars, so not a 5-star for me, but I absolutely loved this story. The reason I didn't rate it 5 stars is the fact that I wanted more from it. Like, I was loving it so much. I just wanted more of the characters, more backstory, more information, more world building. I wanted more of everything, but it is quite a short book. It's only just over 400 pages. The fact that it's this short, and I loved it so much for a fantasy. It has a lot of world building and a lot of systems at play that you have to fully understand to get into the story. But I absolutely love this. I loved the characters. It gives kind of Peaky Blinders vibes. You know, there's guns and there's a bit of a group happening, like a gang happening, that are a bit morally grey and a bit twisted, and she kind of, the female main character, she kind of gets tied up in it and becomes part of their crew. I just absolutely loved this book. It has a lot to do with mining, which mining in Australia is a very big thing. We are a mining country, so I absolutely love that she included that kind of setting as well. The main character, Nina, is from a mining town. When they're 12 years old, they get sent into the city or the capital or whatever it is, and they get tested for these magical abilities. It's elemental magic, so you can either be like earth, fire, water, and air. They get tested for magical abilities, and then the main character, she kind of figures out that the government and the higher up citizens, the people in power, it's all just a hoax. Basically, they're picking and choosing who has powers and who doesn't. So that was very interesting. I love the magic system in this. I just wanted more. I just really wanted more. I can't wait for the second one to come out. I hope it is just as good or even better. 4 stars for this one. It definitely hit the mark. The writing is nothing crazy. It's pretty straightforward, but I found it highly entertaining. I loved the banter. I loved the conversations. The characters were so good. The tension was so good. Loved it. Okay, the next one. The next one I'm going to talk about is one of my all-time favorite books in the entire world, and I have been waiting, literally crawling tooth and nail through every day, waiting for the next book to come out, and that is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is my special edition that I spent heaps of money on to get this. I am obsessed. I'm obsessed. This was genuinely one of my most favorite reads I have ever read, and I don't know what it is about the book. I don't know what it is about the book. I loved the writing style, but more than that, I just loved the world. I loved the dragons. I loved the main characters. I loved the backstory and the world building and the information. This was so good. The dedication, it says, "For those who feel small and quiet, spread those wings and roar." The artwork? Are you kidding me? For what this is about, it follows a girl named Rave, and she is an assassin, and basically she's paid to find these people and do hits on them. That's what she does. She's trying not to get caught by a group of fae. They have been chasing her and wanting to find her for a long time, so she does her assassin job. That's what she does, and she ends up getting caught, and then the male main character, Khan, finds her, and then they sort of team up to face the bad guys and solve whatever is going on in their world. But I absolutely love the world and the magic system in this. I think it's so unique and so cool. The way that the world is set up, it's like Earth, but they have the shade. Let me just double check that I've got this right. They have the shade, the fade, and then the burn. Okay, so the burn is like desert, sun, hot, that kind of setting, and there's certain dragons that can live in the burn. And then you have the fade, which is like the middle part where you can cross over. It's kind of got a bit of both. And then you have the shade, which is like winter, nighttime, dreary, darkness. In the sky, that's where the dragons are. They're in the stars because when they pass away, they form a star and go up into the sky. Like, it's just so unique and magical the way that it works. And then everybody has different elements that they can talk to. So like talk to in their mind and use as the magic. If you have access to the god of water, then you can talk to them and hear them in your mind, and then you can use the power of water yourself, which I thought was so cool. I could just go on and on and on about this book. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was really fast paced, unique, and well done. I didn't feel like it was too hard to understand. I've heard a lot of people say that it's way too hard to understand, but I didn't feel that way. It's just so unique and so good. I cannot wait for the second one to come out, which is coming out very soon. It's coming out in May, and I have been waiting so patiently for so long to read the second book, and the expectations are high. So I feel like I need to rein that back in because the expectations are so high. But if you couldn't tell, this is like a 6-star for me. I'm obsessed. I have 3 different copies of this book. If that doesn't tell you, I don't know what will. Moving on, the next one is a pretty fresh one that I just read recently as well, and that is The Will of the Many by James Arlington. This one I rated 4.5 stars, and the reason I didn't give it 5 stars is simply because I didn't get those 5-star feelings, but I thought this was so well done. So well written. The world building is fantastic. The characters are so well done. Like, so well done. They just felt like real people to me. All of their behavior and mannerisms and the way that they responded to things and reacted to things made sense to me. It didn't feel like it was out of context or that they were overreacting or doing things for the sake of the plot. Like, it felt like a normal reaction that you would have, and then obviously it's heightened because it's high fantasy and the situations that they're in are a lot different to what you would be in the real world, but they just felt like real human people to me that were just reacting to whatever was going on around them. This follows a guy, his name is Viz Telemus. He is living in an orphanage and he is in hiding from the government. He doesn't want to be found because I don't really know what will happen if they find him, but basically they like destroyed his homeland and he's really mad at them, so he doesn't want them to find him. He is avoiding being used as a power source. The way that the world works is it runs on willpower, so human willpower. If you're on the bottom rung, you are powering other people, so you're giving your willpower to them, and the higher up the ladder you are, so it's like a pyramid scheme, the higher up the ladder you are, the more people's will you get and the stronger you are. He ends up getting adopted and found by this guy who is in the military, and there's 2 other government systems. There's like the military, religion, and like the Senate or something. Basically, he gets adopted and taken in by this guy in the military, and the military wants him to go to this academy where he can find out what religion is doing at this academy because he thinks that something sus is going on and they're hiding something. So he gets Viz to go to the academy as his son, basically be undercover and be kind of like a spy for the military to figure out what's going on. The world building is great. The characters are great. The pacing and the setup and like the way the story flows was really fast paced. It's over 600 pages, but I didn't feel like it was slow at all. It really dived straight in. Yeah, I just really loved it. The ending of this really got me. Like, I was so impressed with the ending. I thought it was so creative, so well done. I was like, wow, I don't understand how that is going to fit into the next book. Like, how would you write that and make it make sense? Like, it truly shocked me, but so good. 4.5 stars for this one. If you haven't picked it up, definitely recommend. Loved. The next one is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. Now this one is about the whole trilogy. So you have Daughter of No Worlds, then you have Children of Fallen Gods, and then Mother of Death and Dawn. I absolutely loved this trilogy. I originally read it on my Kindle. I loved it. If you don't know what this is about, I'm going to read the blurb to you. It says, a former slave fighting for justice, a reclusive warrior who no longer believes it exists, and a dark magic that will entangle their fates. Ripped from a forgotten homeland as a child, Tisana learned how to survive with nothing but a sharp wit and a touch of magic. But on the night she tries to buy her freedom, she barely escapes with her life. Desperate to save the best friend she left behind, Tisana journeys to the Orders, the most powerful organizations of magic wielders in the world. To join their ranks, she must complete an apprenticeship with Maxentarius, a handsome and reclusive wielder of fire who despises the Orders. This girl, she is enslaved and she works really hard to save up enough money to buy her freedom, and it ends up up going south. It turns a bit chaotic and she has to escape. And she goes to the Orders. She wants to join their ranks and become part of their team and their community to face off against the people who enslaved her, because she thinks it's wrong and it's bad and she wants to save the world basically and change the world. That's her motivation. When she gets to the Orders, she then has to complete an apprenticeship with this guy, the male main character. His name is Maxentarius, or Max. Does this apprenticeship with him, and basically they have like teamed them up together because they don't really believe that either of them will amount to anything. Maxentarius kind of quit the Orders because he believes that they're like corrupt, and then they are just putting her with him to like get rid of her basically. She ends up doing the apprenticeship with him. He like teaches her how to do magic and how to use her magic as a power rather than just the little stuff that she was doing for like tricks and stuff when she was a slave. This book follows the apprenticeship and what they do, what they achieve with that once she has finished it. As the story goes on, it just builds and builds and builds, and it is so good. I absolutely loved it. I loved the female main character in this. I could read about her all day. I felt like she was so powerful and strong, and she had so much trauma and like backstory that I also loved and empathized with. It was just really fun. I don't think the writing was anything crazy. I definitely remember annotating a few things in my Kindle when I was reading this, but it's nothing too hard to understand. It's nothing crazy. Carissa Broadbent writes very straightforward books. She is a very straightforward writer, but it's still hard-hitting and you still feel for the characters and what they're going through and how they're going to get to where they need to get to solve and save the world. So I really loved this one. I loved the magic system and the world. It wasn't too much, but it wasn't too little. It was just really well done. Such a fun read. Definitely recommend. I gave every single book in this trilogy 4 stars. Oh my god, I loved this one. This book I also could not pass up putting in this video, and that is Beartown. Not only Beartown, but the entire Beartown trilogy. It's 3 books. Frederick Bachman is quite literally the best author I have ever read. I love his writing. I love the way he can conceptualize and put into words human existence. It blows me away. Truly, the way he talks about the most mundane things makes mundane things seem so important and so magical, and like he just makes you feel so okay with living a simple, realistic life. I don't know how else to explain his writing. Like, he talks about being parents. He talks about the fears that children face and things that children go through. He talks about work and jobs and like just all those tiny mundane things. He's probably mentioned like taking out the rubbish or washing the dishes, like really boring mundane stuff, but he makes you feel like that's what builds a life and that's what makes a life, and that they're so important. They feel, after reading his books, I feel like life is so important, and I just feel fulfilled. Like the way his characters make me feel and how real his characters are. Like, you cannot tell me that Benji is not a real person. You cannot convince me. He's out there somewhere. I'm serious. The love I feel for Benji in this is exponential. Like, it's unconditional. truly unconditional. Well, for what Beartown is about, it follows a small town, a hockey town, and it is all about hockey, but it is not all about hockey. That gives nothing away. I feel like I'm explaining nothing, I'm saying nothing, but that's truly what it's about. It follows the point of view of literally everybody in the town. Like, it gives you the point of view of everybody. You're constantly switching perspectives. It follows teenagers, it follows the parents, it follows adults, it follows literally everyone that you could think of in this small town, in this hockey town. They all support the hockey team in the town, and they go to the games, and they have this big rivalry with a other town. They're always versing this town, and it's a huge rivalry, and there's things going on, like people are going through things, and some confronting stuff happens in this. I'll definitely check trigger warnings because it doesn't really give you a warning. This book, when I read this, it blew me away. Like, the way he is able to talk about the complexities and the simple things in life, like complex reactions, complex emotions, reactions to things that are going on, where on one perspective, you're looking at that person and you're like, they're doing the wrong thing. And then he puts you in their head, that person's head that's doing the wrong thing. He puts you in their head. And then he makes you realize that like they're doing it for a particular reason or for this purpose, and you're like, well, are they doing the wrong thing? Like, I thought it was the wrong thing, but now I'm not sure. I can't explain it other than that. I really can't. This is so good. I cried. Benji, he lives in my heart. He lives in my soul. If you're not convinced yet, just please read it for the sake of Benji. Get to know him and love him as much as I love him. He needs it. I gave the entire series 5 stars. life-changing. Life-changing, life-altering. Frederick Buckman is now an all-time favorite author of mine, and I'll read literally anything that he writes. I've pretty much read every single book of his. I'm obsessed. The next one is The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. This is also quite a recent read of mine. I gave this 4 stars. This is pretty much as good as everybody says that it is. I've heard amazing things about this book. I didn't love it to the point of giving it 5 stars, and there was definitely things in here where, you know, occasionally I was getting frustrated at the characters and the miscommunication that was happening and the behavior from the trauma that the characters have gone through. It didn't make sense, but at the same time it was repetitive at times and it was getting the best of me. But I still really loved the story and the plot and what was going on, what the characters had to go through to get to a healthy place. This follows a single mum. She has 2 children, they're twins, and basically she has a lot of trauma from her past relationship and her family dynamics. She's lost a lot of people. Her brother is an officer in the SEALs, in the Navy SEALs, in the army. I'm not sure, I'm not sure, but he is like an SAS. I really don't know. He's in the army. Her brother ends up passing away and assigns his best friend in the army, Chaos, to go and look after and protect his sister, who is a single mother with 2 kids running an inn all by herself. She has nobody to be there for her or help her, and she is going through some pretty rough stuff at the time. So it just is compounding awful, horrible things that she's going through, and she's really struggling. But then is a very strong woman and doesn't want to ask for help. So he basically goes to the inn and is just there as a helping hand and just wants to be there for her. But he's kind of hiding his identity, like he doesn't want her to know who he is and like where he's from. It's all a bit confusing. It's a bit miscommunication is happening quite often in this. It is a very slow burn, but I loved the tension and I loved the build up. And I really did love the characters. I thought that they were really well done and the story is well executed. It is heartbreaking and heart-wrenching. It really pulls on the heartstrings. Being a mother myself, that definitely got me. Thoroughly enjoyed it, but not a 5-star for me, but I highly recommend. If you are like me and you like emotional reads and you like that depth, hard-hitting stuff happening, things that the people are going through is hard to talk about and hard to deal with, but if you love reading about that sort of stuff and feeling those big emotions, I definitely recommend this because it has a lot of emotional aspects in it. Next one is The Names by Florence Knapp. This was a book club pick. I don't think I ever would have picked this up if it wasn't for my book club, and I'm so grateful to my book club for that reason because everybody likes different stuff and picks different books. So this really gets me out of my comfort zone, reading different things, reading things that I don't gravitate towards. And this was so good, so good. I listened to this on audio and I was hooked from the get-go. It kind of has, I wouldn't say like a thriller aspect, but it keeps you hooked. Like every time a chapter ends, you're like, oh, what's going to happen, what happens next, like where's he going, what's he doing, etc, etc, etc. But basically in this, you're following a woman and she has just given birth to her son. She then is going to the hospital or to the place that you go to give her son a name. She's deciding about a name for her son. 3 different names, okay? So she has 3 different options to name her son. One of the options is like the option that she is supposed to go with. It's the option that she discussed with her husband. That's the one she's supposed to go with. And then she has 2 others that she wants to go with as well, so she's deciding between those. Goes to the place where she's naming her son, and then the story follows the son and the life of the woman, the husband, the sister, and the son. It follows all 4 of them in 3 different lives, written as though she named him one specific name and then the other specific name and then the last specific name. So it's what his life would be if she named him those 3 names. It's like 3 parallel timelines, which blew my mind to begin with, but then also it was so interesting. It jumps forward 7 years at a time each time you're switching perspectives and timelines. All the characters go through a lot. It's so emotional, it's so hard-hitting. I definitely would check your trigger warnings. It does involve domestic violence, sexual assault, a few other things that I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's very hard-hitting. It follows some grief, just very, very emotional, and I absolutely love this. I gave it 4.5 stars. I just thought it was so well done. For a debut novel, this blew me away. I was so impressed with the writing, with the depth, with the topics and the conversations that this was bringing up. The discussion at book club was amazing. I was so impressed with this. I can't believe someone is talented enough to write something like this. It just really, it blows my mind. all the time, and the way it all ties together at the end, I was obsessed. So if you like the sound of the premise of this, of like the 3 parallel lifetimes and what the different characters go through and how naming your child can mean something unique and different for each name. Ooh, it's so good. Please pick this up. 4.5 stars. Wow. The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This one I gave 4 stars and I thought this was so good as well. I actually am not a huge fan of One Dark Window or Two Twisted Crowns. If you have read those by Rachel Gillig, I didn't love them. They didn't make total sense to me, but this one I really enjoyed and loved. It's quite small for a fantasy book. It is under 400 pages, so 380 something pages. Just very, very entertaining. I loved the characters in this. I loved the male main character. His name is Rory. I'm obsessed. I love the name Rory. Why am I so obsessed with that? Basically, this follows a lady and she works in a cathedral. So it says, Sybil Delling has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. She is a diviner. In her dreams, she receives visions from 6 unearthly figures known as omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur, and lords and common folk alike travel across the kingdom of Traum's windswept moors to learn their futures by her dreams. She has to serve for 10 years as a diviner. That's her job. She got picked as an orphan, I believe, if I am remembering that correctly. She got picked as an orphan to be a diviner, and she has to do it for 10 years, and then once her 10 years is up, they get let go and a new person comes in. However, she discovers that they're all disappearing. All of her diviner friends, all the girls that she works with, are disappearing, and she is trying to figure out what's happened to them and where they're going. Then she kind of teams up with this guy, Rory, who is a soldier. They go on a bit of a quest to figure out what is going on and where the diviners are going and why the cathedral is doing what they're doing behind the scenes. Loved the quest, thought it was really fast-paced, very fun, and there is a character in this. His name is Bartholomew. If you know, you know. He just makes the entire book, I believe. Like, he's the funny one and says outlandish things and makes it less serious than what it is. I just loved him. I loved Bartholomew. I loved Rory, the girl main character. I liked her as well. She is wearing a gossamer, so she has like a mask over her face. I thought that was a really interesting aspect, to take away half the face and just keep the eyes. It made it very interesting and meaningful, the connection that she was having with Rory with her eyes. This was just really, really fun. It has all those traditional fantasy elements, like a quest, an ulterior motive, something that they have to figure out to save the people that they care about. The tension and the romance in it, I just really enjoyed as well. So this was really, really fun. If you like fantasy, if you liked One Dark Window, then I would definitely recommend this. But even if you didn't like One Dark Window like me, this was really, really good and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Can't wait for the next one to come out. Second last one we have here is Tom Lake by Anne Patchett. I listened to the audiobook of this as well, and it is narrated by sorry. It's narrated by Meryl Streep. So if you don't know who Meryl Streep is, what are you doing? What rock are you living under? I absolutely love and adore Meryl Streep. She's an amazing actress. She can do no wrong. Literally, she can do no wrong. She narrates this book and it follows a lady. She has 3 daughters and they live on a farm. Basically, her 3 daughters have gone to her and asked her to tell the story of when she had a whirlwind romance with a fellow actor when she was a young woman. So she's telling her daughters this story, and you go on this journey of her experiencing this love with this actor and all the things that they go through, trying to, you know, maybe living in the limelight. He is being a bit deceptive. There's things going on in the background. They're having arguments. It's a whirlwind romance. It's a little bit toxic. She is talking all about that to her daughters, and I just loved the tone of this book, the underlying story, the underlying message about marriage and love, and how sometimes it's not all about those big, toxic, all-encompassing loves, and how sometimes the perfect love and the right love for you can be simple and soft and no drama, and it's just that person that wakes up in the morning and makes you a cup of coffee every day, and that's your perfect love. It has this underlying message of like, sometimes the best love for you is not the one that consumes you. This was just so well done. And then listening to Meryl Streep narrate it, knowing who she is and her as an actress and the way that she narrates it, she just does an amazing, amazing job. I highly recommend the audiobook. I did some immersive reading, so I read the physical book as well. It has some really nice quotes in this and some hard-hitting lines. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so good. It's just about life and love and how the small moments and the small things from your loved one are the things that make a beautiful love story at the end of the day, and growing old together. This was really, really nice. I believe I gave this 4.5 stars off the top of my head. I think 4.5 stars or 5 stars. I think 4.5 stars. Okay, last but not least, literally not least, this book changed my life. Changed my life. Top 5 books of all time, like literally top 5 books of all time, and that is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Oh my god. I cannot explain to you what this book did to me or how it made me feel. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to infinity stars. If you get anything from this video, if you made it this far, please read this. If you've been avoiding it, if you're intimidated by it, literally, I don't care. I'm telling you to read it. Pick it up. Pick it up and read it. I haven't told you anything about this, but changed my life. The tears that I sobbed reading this. This follows a lady named Joan, and she is an astrophysicist. She is a professor of something to do with the atmosphere and the stars. She's like an astrophysicist or an astro something. She's a professor of astronomy, astrology, not sure. Anyway, this is back in the day. This is set in the 1980s. It's a historical fiction with a beautiful love story involved. This deserves so many awards. It's insane. Basically what ends up happening is they're taking applications. Who's they? NASA is taking applications for people to join their crew and go into space, to join the space shuttle and go to space. So she is encouraged to apply for the job and join the team. She ends up applying and she ends up getting in, and then she goes through the training process, and that's what the book is about, is her training process of learning and training and becoming an astronaut and then being able to go into space. While she's there, she ends up making this little like family group of friends. It's got a found family feeling to it. She makes this group of friends and they're going to barbecues and they're going to dinners and they're making connections and there's flirting going on and there's things happening. And Joan is a very reclusive, very reserved type of person, but throughout the novel she really grows into her own and learns her power and her worth and becomes this whole woman that is just amazing. The reason the book is so hard-hitting is because at the very beginning, you're kind of thrown in the deep end of they're on the shuttle in space and things are going wrong, things are going badly. You're kind of like, okay, how is she going to save the day? And then you flip back in time to the training and her meeting these people for the first time and getting to know them and all the things that she's going through as a woman in the 1980s and all the hurdles that women have to go through to get somewhere in life and be successful, especially back in this time. She is dealing with all of that on top of trying to be a successful astronaut and being very good at her craft and her skill set. It's so interesting, and like there's men there. Some of the men are very wonderful and understanding, and other men are very sexist and don't want a bar of her and basically are making her jump through more hurdles. As it jumps forward and back through perspectives, it gives you a little bit more every time you're in that situation of her being in the shuttle. And every single time I was in the shuttle, I was crying, because as you're reading through the book, you're getting to know these characters, and some of them have these beautiful families and they're married or they're falling in love or they have things going on that is really successful and exciting for them. And then you get to the part where they're in the shuttle and it's just heartbreaking because everything is going wrong and she doesn't know how to fix it. It really puts it in perspective. The lessons in this, the journey that she goes on, the woman that Joan grows into is so stunning and so amazing. I absolutely love this. I could not put it down, and when I finished it, I did not stop thinking about it for days and days and days. I would be driving my car and I would be thinking about it and I would just start crying because I loved this so much and I was so connected to the characters. I felt like I was there with them, like this was happening to me. It wasn't just in the book, it was happening to me and I was there. Taylor Jenkins Reid really just took my heart and like ripped it out basically. Like, this book changed my life. It was so good. I annotated so much. This is my hardcover copy, so I don't have my annotations in this one, but I do have another copy of this. And I'll probably buy another one, who knows. 1,000,000 stars. A masterpiece. That's what this is, a masterpiece. And it deserves awards. A Pulitzer Prize, literally. There you have it. That is 12 books. There is 12, I believe. 12 books that absolutely hit the mark for me and were stunning in every single way possible. I feel like filming this has overwhelmed me. Like, these books are so good. I really encourage everyone to pick these up. Just read them, please. 12 books that I was convinced to read by social media, family, friends, whomever, the dog outside. Absolutely hit the mark and crushed it, killed it thoroughly. thoroughly enjoyed all of them, and I just want other people to read them and experience and enjoy them the way that I have. I can't believe I have just yapped for an hour talking about these 12 books. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate all the support that I get. I just love you guys so much. Give it a thumbs up, and if you're channel, I thoroughly enjoy doing this and thoroughly enjoy talking to you guys about books and discussing books with anyone and everyone. So if you would like to be part of the community, please subscribe to my channel and let me know down below your 5 and 6 star books and books that absolutely hit the mark for you and blew you away, and then hopefully I will read them and understand you feel the way that you do. This is part 2 to this video, so I hope you enjoyed part 1 as well if you did watch that. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!